What a life. Here we are in my new apartment. This is going to be the new studio. I am so excited to start building this out even more. You can see it's a little bit different already. I got the new mic, should be having my bassy voice sounding better. All right, today's topic. Your next version is going to require a new space, new environment, new surroundings, new habits, new routines. And sometimes that will be willfully forced out of you, depending on your situation. And hopefully that is the case, to be honest. Now, me moving into this new apartment is really tied to this video. I've noticed that every single time I move into a new space, a new version of myself comes out of me naturally. And that version is always an upgraded version of myself. Now, upgrade is both subjective and objective. Subjectively, someone's upgrade could be, I went from working 80 hours a week and being stressed all the time but making a ton of money to working 40 hours a week on something I like doing more but making way less money. But there's also the objective version, like if I'm in better shape as a whole, my body just feels better in general, I'm getting better sleep, that's objectively. I think right now, this season calls for a bit more work, a bit more focus, now that our rent has gone up and I'm now living with my fiance, which is going to really be interesting to see how it unfolds. So far, it's been about a week since we moved in and things have been going good. Sleeping in the same bed with her, even though I've always had sleeping problems throughout my life and she wakes up early and I am not on that level yet, but I'm trying to be. But things have been great and I felt more determined and motivated with her around, which I suspected would be the case. This person, the love of my life, is bringing out a version of me that requires more dedication and focus, which is a version that I was hoping would come out of me. And that's another reason that I really wanted to be married by now, by 27. It doesn't really matter the exact age you get married. Please don't force yourself into marriage just because you feel like you have to. But I'm saying I knew that moving in with my significant other, my fiance, would get me in the mindset of, this isn't just about me anymore. I have more responsibilities. I have more monthly rent to take care of. And therefore, I have no other option than to bring out a better version of myself. And sometimes you've got to force yourself into those situations. It's part of the reason I came to Austin in the first place, because I didn't know anybody here. My friend mentioned it. He said there were content creators here. Maybe I could network. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was totally unknown. There was a ton of uncertainty. I was nervous, but I knew that coming here, it would bring out a different version of me. And I was done with the version of myself that existed in Buffalo in that apartment that I was living in. I was not very healthy. I worked my fucking ass off to get my channel to start growing. A lot of people ask me, would you have still gotten the success you've gotten on YouTube had you not worked so hard from, let's say, 2021 or 2020 to 2022? I mean, it was like almost a couple of videos a week, every single week, which the thought of that now is kind of crazy, even though I could do it. The answer is, I feel like I'd be here regardless, but it probably would have maybe taken a little bit longer and I would have saved myself a lot of health issues in the short term. But reason I'm going on about this is because sometimes you need to force yourself into a new environment to bring out that next version of you. And it depends what type of version of yourself you're trying to bring out. So, for example, if you have a few bad habits, you're still doing more than you'd like to. Whether that's drinking heavily or fapping too much, procrastinating too much on your phone, Well, what reason does your life have to naturally bring out a better version of you? If you don't have enough of a reason to become that version of yourself that doesn't fap as much, that doesn't drink, that doesn't procrastinate on their phone, then trying to will yourself to do it and put in a ton of effort, it's going to be way harder. The version of yourself that you are right now is exactly what your life calls for in this moment. And if you want to change who you are, change what your life needs to call for you. And that's partly why I like moving into new upgraded spaces. I remember the first time I ever moved into an apartment, I had not a lot of money in my bank account. And I did have the blessing of being able to fall back to living with my parents in case things didn't work out back then. Back then I was coaching clients for fitness. That was like the main thing of my brand before self-improvement became a big thing. And I was making like a little bit more than my rent per month, which at that time was like $800 a month. But I knew that if I move out of my parents' house, it's going to require an upgraded version of myself. It's going to require a better version of me. Better in my sense of better. And your sense of better is subjective to you. It depends on who you're trying to become. I knew that if I moved out of my parents' house, well, I would have to start waking up at like 7 a.m. every morning, grinding the content out, making sure I have enough clients, or I literally won't be able to pay rent. And I don't want to say it's about the pressure. I mean, there is pressure to be responsible and to work hard when you own things. But it wasn't so much the pressure as it was just knowing how much I could do being in this new space. And so I've gained a new perspective on pressure since talking to people in like my self-mastery community. I think I've also gained a new perspective for myself that things shouldn't feel so forceful. And I know we're kind of getting off topic, but I don't think things should feel extremely forceful to the point where you're neglecting your health or any other part of your life that's really important just to reach a number on a screen, which is what I did for a while. So it's not so much the pressure that comes from growing into a new space or seeking a new space. It's more so just that new version of yourself is just going to naturally come out of you once you're in that space. You're going to have no other option, and you're just going to feel more motivated when you have more things that you're looking around in your surroundings that make life feel like, wow, this is really fun and I want to try harder and do more and achieve big things. So you got to really think to yourself, like, what is the environment in which the greater version of myself will naturally come out? For me, that was Austin. I knew there were good content creators here. There's better weather than Buffalo. In Buffalo, I just felt complacent and stagnant, and I kept seeing the same people I've seen for the rest of my life, or for all of my life up until that point. I had the same friends. I needed this challenge. You need a bit of a new look on things, a new environment. You need to break your routine at the very least, which is what everybody watching this video can do, even if you can't move across the country like I did. So we also talked about this in my self-mastery community about one of the members went to a monastic retreat for a week, I think. He was hanging out with monks, getting real involved with religion, no stimulation at all. He didn't have his phone, and it made him realize how much less stimulating environments keep him calm and peaceful. Who would have thought, right? And so that little shakeup of routine is what, at the very least, you should do, because too often we fall into routines and we stay the same person because we don't even give ourselves the opportunity to be in a completely new environment with new surroundings, doing new things, which will naturally get you to think differently about life and gain a fresh perspective. So that's the least you can do. But then on top of that, if you go into another season of life in a completely new environment almost every day, and it feels upgraded, like things are getting better, your life is naturally going to say, well, you got all these things, you got all these responsibilities, you got this new space for you to create or fulfill your purposes in. So we're going to help you do that. A lot of people like to use the phrase, wherever you go, there you are. And it's not really a counter argument to moving somewhere new for the sole purpose of becoming someone new and better. It's more so just like, hey, if you continuously try to chase new things and move around and try all these different lifestyles, like no matter what, you're still going to be there. You're still going to be you, and you're still going to have to face your demons or whatever it is inside of you. You can't escape who you truly are deep down. And I understand that point. Like, going across the country is not going to solve all your problems unless, well, one, that environment can help you, like I said, but you also have to be enacting some sort of change, some sort of completely different lifestyle, or else it is just going to be you again. Because there's plenty of instances in which people move out of their hometowns and nothing really changes, and they could have accomplished and became the person that they wanted to become exactly where they are right now. But for me personally, I feel much more motivated and inspired when I am upgrading things, investing. It's more like investing in a higher version of life. And that's how I see like most things that I spend money on or use to shift environments. When I visit Buffalo and I go back there, I just feel myself from before my YouTube channel became successful come out sometimes with my friends. I'm so familiar with it. I spent 20 something years of my life there. And I don't want to be that person that I was when I was there anymore. And this is why environment is so powerful, because you have the chance to become whoever you want to be. Those are the things you need to evaluate in your life. You know, does the current environment you're in require you to be the version of yourself you want to be? That's the question.